Oh, you guys, I can't believe that Casey Neistat and Jeff Wittek had an interview, and I am livid. I'm so upset about this. I cannot watch this. First of all, confirmation bias, Jeff Wittek, Team Jeff Wittek. Casey Neistat, I think is such a sneaky snake, bro. Here we go.
So he don't give a fuck about you. He don't even answer your texts. So why are you still sticking up for him?
Well, one, I'm not. I don't stick up for David at all.
Post the video then, girl. Post the video because you contradict yourself. You're going to see how in this video he says, I don't stick up for David. But I guess by me not posting the video is me sticking up for David. Casey Neistat's canceled, bro. Casey Neistat's so canceled the house.
That episode you were sticking up for him.
No.
Unless it was something that you don't want to admit and you were trying to curve around the question of why you're not selling the piece.
I'm a wide open book, Jeff. I don't, there's no like gaming or juking in what I say. So I like what I said.
Nah, do you hear that? Body language. And at no point in time does he take off the glasses and say, you know what, guys? You know what? No, the whole time has his glasses on, sitting with his busted ass Macy's Lacoste shirt. Girl, nobody cares.
I think that like when I talk about like the flattery of David, like I'm referring to a time when he was sort of like when YouTube was David.
He was charismatic and a good editor.
Bro, YouTube was not David Dobrik, okay? Maybe the algorithm that you were on, it was, but the algorithm that I was on, David Dobrik, I wasn't on that side of it. I knew who it was, but on the beauty world, no one really knew David until he collaborated with Jeffree Star.
Yeah, but he also like, I mean, you were on that tour with us when like we ran around and I was like doing all that filming.
Best time of my life, yeah.
And I'd never seen an audience, especially having experienced a version of that myself. Mm-hmm. I'd never seen an audience that looked to a creator the way they looked at David.
And is that what you wanted? And it's so crazy because the way people, it's all perception is reality. The way people looked at Casey Neistat is the same way people was looking at Casey Neistat. I remember Casey Neistat was getting views the house for just unboxing packaging, riding a skateboard around New York. Girl. Oh my God. Hold on. Bethany Frankel just made a video about me. Hold on. We'll get there in a minute.
But Conor McGregor is also the most popular fighter of all time, but he's also on trial for being a civil suit, but he's also being accused of sexual assault. So, you can look at it like, imagine you're saying right now, Conor McGregor is the best fighter of all time. People would look at you like, yeah, he's a great fighter. I love him. I love him at the press conferences. I loved him at his peak fighting. Just his personality, his persona, his confidence.
But I think, Jeff, it's important to draw a distinction, which is like, we can talk about at least.
Bro, first of all, Casey Neistat's total like waste of space because he literally wasted his time making this damn documentary about David Dobrik that the world wants to see that will tell the truth, because part of being a documentary film teller is telling the truth. And here you're withholding the truth. This makes you the worst documentary film in all time. Because when people watch documentaries, Casey Neistat, they watch it to find out the truth. And here you are not disclosing the truth. So F you, Casey Neistat. In my opinion, until you post that documentary, you will forever be trash to me.
I feel like I can talk about David, both the person and his YouTube channel, before all this shit went down. Mm-hmm. Because I think the hardest thing, the biggest challenge that I had with this movie is I felt a little bit misled. And I won't say that because that makes me sound like a victim. And I don't see myself as a fucking victim in any capacity. But like, had I understood the totality of what had transpired, this is not with you and your accident, but what transpired.
Of course, I was a tiny piece. I wasn't even talking about me.
Yeah,
I was more
when this shit went down
looking at it from the point of view from Dom
in the darkness.
Yeah.
If I had understood the totality of that, I don't think I ever would have stuck my toe in the water.
But you did.
But I did.
And now you went further. I'm sure you spent a lot of time interviewing the girl, the victim.
Yeah.
How much time did you spend with her?
Well, first of all, she's not in the video.
Yeah, of course.
You've seen
I watched it,
You've seen the movie a bunch of times. I spoke with a number of people completely off the record. And the reason why I spoke with those people is because, you know,
because you wanted views and clicks and a more authentic video. When you do a documentary film, you want people to watch it, so you're going to get people who are associated, who can tell the truth.
And I'm sure most of your audience hasn't seen it, but like in the movie, what was written in the press by those journalists?
Well, it was only released on.
It was
like $600 to buy online.
Is that what it costs?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So the only way you could have seen the movie
on one day,
it's
like a pay-per-view.
It was in one of the biggest film festivals in North America. So there was a way you could see it online, but it has never been able for the public to see it. There's never been an opportunity for the public to see it easily. But the movie itself doesn't have any first-hand reporting. The movie itself, if I had to like give you the elevator pitch for the movie, it was like the story of what happened when this article came out about just how dark and just how awful sort of the crimes of Dom were.
Yeah.
And then the impact that had on David's vlogs.
Yeah.
And then a lot of the article very fairly points out a lot of other really dark things that transpired in that vlog.
Yeah.
So that's what the movie came about. And like when I was saying before, when I said I felt like a little bit misled, is because I feel like that story did a really accurate job of articulating all of the sort of darkness that transpired throughout the success of David's vlog. And I was really naive to a lot of it. The reason why I don't accept that I was totally misled is it was my responsibility. I should have dug deeper to really understand the implications of what was happening there.
Yeah.
I think the things that I fell in love with.
Bro, first, this is really very much seems like backpedaling on Casey Neistat's part. The fact that David Dobrik doesn't even text Casey Neistat, that friendship is already ruined. So why are you trying to? You're being good to one person, but being bad to so many others, and you're clinging on to like the clout that David Dobrik had, when in reality he's lost a lot of his influence, and you're going down with him. And it's sad to see you go down with that same clout. You know what I'm saying?
When it came to telling this story is that like David was this shooting star. I just want to be clear so you don't interject. Like
was.
I'm not.
When I'm talking about,
I agree.
When I'm talking about David was, like, there's a big bold line here, which is like before that article came out, before like what was once hidden became public. So I'm only talking about sort of before that. Like David was this star. You were a part of that then, and like where he was, how far he was going to take it seemed like he could have gone all the way.
Yeah.
Like he wanted to be like the next Fallon.
Yeah.
And so for me as a storyteller, like what an incredibly compelling narrative. Like here's this kid with his immigration background and this really like colorful story of how he came here, and then starting from nothing, and he builds this YouTube channel, and he brings all of, we both know that this is not the true story now, but this is how I saw it then. He like brings all of his friends with him, and then they all succeed together, and it seemed like this really romantic story.
Yeah.
And then as I get into it, like there was the fun stuff. Like,
did you think people were getting paid back then, like the crew?
That was like, if you remember, I don't know if you were one of my first interviews. You were early though. You were so supportive, but I knew people weren't getting paid. But from afar, it sort of seemed like people were getting paid. And I think like my favorite narrative, throughout the movie was being able to like really zero in on the characters that were the supporting staff.
Yeah.
Because of how honest everybody was. Like how forthcoming people were about their characters.
I was making stuff outside of that, so I was just grateful to have a new group of friends because I just came out of a relationship. So,
it's funny.
Because they just sent back a court document, and they said that this is what they said.
Oh, they're still illegal? I was under the impression that JEFFWITTEK already settled the lawsuit. And was living off the billions of dollars. This is interesting.
Legally, this is in writing, that I had only 60,000 followers when I met them, and I should be fine.
I saw this.
I should be fine with this because they gave me some subscribers. My most popular video is where I picked up a homeless guy and gave him a makeover. This is before I even met David, years before. So, I mean, they're so messy with some stuff like that. So it's so hard I know everybody says to forgive, to move on in life, but how do you forgive somebody that's, one, not sorry, two, is lying and saying that it was your fault that this happened to you? You know, that alone, I know, like, I'm not trying to compare myself to the girl, but also I'm sure that he doesn't feel guilt in that either, when, you know, he's not the one who did it, but he also profited off of it. And the girl, he said in your doc that she did it for attention. And now maybe you have to be a victim to see these things and really feel these things. And I guess because I am a victim, I can empathize with that girl. But that girl don't want clout. You know, you know that. You interviewed her. She wasn't looking for attention or money. She just wanted to get her story out. Right? Am I right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that...
Is he right? Come on, Casey. This is so bad. This interview did Casey Knight no favors.
I think that is an important distinction, but David didn't say that she was doing it for attention. He said that the article was written to get clicks. And I think that regardless of those two distinctions...
It's been a while since I saw it. I remember my part more I was focused on because he was like, oh, Jeff's just crazy. He always wants to do crazy shit, which is also like, but when did you ever see me doing
I think you're drilling in at a point, both of these, him saying that the article was written for clicks, which is basically invalidates what happened to the victim.
Yeah,
it invalidates,
which is a big no-no.
Which is, I think both as a human being, it's a very yucky position to take. And then I think sort of politically, you know, like what I said in that interview that you took issue with, and I think it's fair for you to take issue with this. I think it's not a fair characterization, the way that I said it in that interview, is that, like, I don't think that all that bad stuff that transpired was enough to end David's career if he had taken ownership of what transpired. Yeah. I think that there were...
Bro, but I don't understand why he can't just sit down, right, post this documentary film and be like, hey guys, so this video, right, I filmed it years ago and I thought this way, but then when it ended, all the stuff came out, right? So just want to let you know that when you watch this video, watch to it toward the end, because you're not going to believe how this turned out. And then at the end of it, be like, yeah, you see? So this is how I feel as a documentarian. Like, this guy's my friend, and I don't want to release a documentary, but I have to because I'm a truth teller in documentary film, and this is what it is. And just be open and honest, and ultimately leave people who are watching the documentary with the sense of like, wow, I feel for Casey Neistat. But I see that he is stuck between a rock and a hard place. He doesn't do that. And that's what's so weird about it. So weird.
This is before anything happened with you. There was such a cadence, if you remember, he was doing 3 videos a week. There was such a cadence and such chaos. There's certainly an argument there that says, I didn't know what a fucking idiot Dom was.
Yeah.
You know, and then the thing that David hid behind, which was, you know, the victim saying...
But he did. I mean, he got the message the night before, the night after, and he had not told us, but he had known. And... you know, there's some things that he lied to you about too, which is fair. So that's why, like, I want to sit here with you because I know you're an intelligent guy.
Yeah, and Jeff,
I know
all of these points bring home the same thing, which is my biggest issue, both as a friend, although I work really hard, and largely because of my wife's encouragement. She was right that, like, you have to stop being a friend and just stop.
Yeah. And you know what? If David Dobrik is a really, really good friend to you, he would understand why you did it. And it's so sad that Casey Neistat still till this day does not put out the documentary. Just like Tristan Paytas doesn't want to put out the documentary interview with Jeffree Star. Because you know what? It's going to show... you know what I really see is that Casey Neistat's a fan of David Dobrik. He was a diehard fan. He was in awe of David Dobrik's celebrityness. In all of it. And so now... he probably was shocked, and he's just like a diehard fan. And guess what? David Dobrik doesn't even pay him dust anymore. Doesn't even answer his text messages. This interview did him no favors. Jeff Wittek is sitting there listening to this guy lip sync for his life. And the only reason Casey Neistat did this is because if Casey Neistat continues on posting videos, people are still going to say, well, where's the video with the David Dobrik? Where are you going to post video with David Dobrik? It's going to follow him and haunt him to the rest of his life. And in the beginning, I thought that Casey Neistat was just trying to do this, try to see how much money he could get out of it. But it turns out that he's scared to post it. In the court of public opinion, Casey Neistat is a coward for not posting the video. This is Rich Love with the hottest news on TikTok and YouTube. Let me know what you think about this. Bye. Love you guys.